Hi everyone, welcome to this month's Kids Cooking Club. My name is Miss Charity, and I have my son Henry with me today, and we will be making gingerbread cookies
and gingerbread houses.
So, here we go. For the molasses cookie dough, to make both the gingerbread house and the gingerbread men, you're going to need packed brown sugar, shortening, molasses, 2 eggs, flour, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, baking soda, and salt. In a large bowl, we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, two-thirds of a cup of shortening, one and 1/3 cups of molasses, and you're going to find that it actually is the entire jar. If you'd like to measure it out, that's fine, but it's going to take the entire jar of molasses. Then we're going to go ahead and mix that together really well so you don't see any of the shortening anymore. Then we're going to add 2 eggs, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, two teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and 4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. We're going to go ahead and mix that together. Then we're going to add 5½ cups of flour. We're going to go ahead and mix all that together until we can't see any flour anymore. And if you'd like, you can use your hands to do this too. Each batch of dough will make approximately 3 gingerbread houses or 5 dozen gingerbread cookies. Finally, we're going to cover it with saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. But you can do it overnight if you want. Sometimes it works better if you make the dough one day and then do all of the baking and the decorating another day. We're going to make 4 houses today and a bunch of gingerbread cookies, so I'm going to go ahead and make a second batch of dough. Again, following all of the same things that we did on the first batch. 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar, 2/3 of a cup of shortening, 1 1/3 cups of molasses, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and finally 5½ cups of flour. Now, once the dough has been in the refrigerator for at least an hour, we're going to need to cut out all of our pieces. But before we can do that, we have 2 options. If you already have cookie cutters in the shape of gingerbread houses, then you can use those. If not, I'm going to show you how to make your own cookie cutters. All you need is some hard paper. Cardstock works best, but you could use construction paper as well. And we're going to cut out the right dimensions. Okay, to make your own cookie cutters for the gingerbread house, you're going to need 2 4-inch by 7-inch rectangles. Those are going to be for the roof. 2 3 by 5 3/4 inch rectangles for the sides, and then for the front and the back, it's going to be a 3 by 5 inch rectangle, but it's got the triangle on top, so the peak is another 2.5 inches. So if you draw a straight line on the bottom for the 5 inches, each side goes up 3 inches, and then right in the middle of the 5 inches for the bottom, if you measure up 5.5 inches, put a dot there, and then just take that dot over to one of the 3-inch sides and make a straight line, and then again from the dot to the other 3-inch side, you'll have your peak. And then you're going to want to cut those out. All right, we can go ahead and get started. On a lightly floured surface, we're going to go ahead and roll out our cookie dough until it's a 1/4 inch thick. Then we're going to use our cookie cutters, and remember we need to have 2 of each shape. So 2 of the front and back with the triangle on top, 2 of the larger rectangles for the roof, and 2 of the smaller rectangles for the sides. If you're using the stencils that you've created, just simply place it right on top of the dough and use a knife to cut around it. Once you've got those all cut out, you're going to want to put it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want them to be too soft because then they'll start to cave in when you're building your gingerbread house, but you also don't want them to be too hard because then you don't want to eat it. And we're going to do the same thing with our gingerbread men or women. We're going to go ahead and take our dough, roll it out on a lightly floured surface to a 1/4 inch, and cut out all of our gingerbread people. Once all of the pieces have completely cooled, we're going to go ahead and make a base for our gingerbread house. All you need is a piece of cardboard in the shape of a rectangle. It should be larger than your rectangles that you were using. And then a piece of foil. We're going to place the cardboard on top of the foil and wrap it up, and that's going to be the base that our gingerbread house sits on. Now for the fun part, the decorating and putting that house together. You're going to need some icing. You can get the tubs of icing at the grocery store, and then any type of candy or fruit, whatever you want to do to decorate your gingerbread house. So I let my kids go shopping, and you can see we have quite the variety here. We're going to go ahead and put those together. The easiest way to do that is to put icing on the 3-inch sides of your 2 triangular front and backs to your house, and then attach the side pieces to those front and back. And go ahead and use a lot of icing here because you don't want it to fall apart. Then you're just going to put some icing along the 2 peaks of the triangles and attach your 2 roof pieces. Now you can decorate it however you'd like. And you'll notice as we go through, sometimes the houses weren't quite as secure as we thought they were going to be, so we have to kind of start over, give it a little bit more icing, really secure it, and then move on. The more candy you put on, the heavier it's going to get, the more likely that it could collapse, but that's okay. You can become creative and you can make it look like whatever you'd like. You'll notice at the end that one of my children had a house that ended up looking more like an A-frame house because the roof was too heavy and it collapsed, but she propped it up together and it looked just fine. Of course, you can decorate your gingerbread bowl with icing and whatever sprinkles or candy you'd like. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun making your gingerbread people and houses, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. See you next time.